Hey guys, welcome back. So topic for today's discussion is centric relation, centric occlusion and maximum intercuspation. So before dealing with these three terms, we need to understand in detail what is centric relation. So let's see. So the concept of centric relation, let's split it up into four parts. So centric relation is the basic relationship of mandible to maxilla, that is mandibular condyle to the glenoid fossa, in which the condyles articulate with the thinnest avascular portion of the articular disc. Now in the figure we can see this is the mandibular condyle, and this condyle, it is in contact with the articular disc, which is this portion. So the portion of the disc which is in contact with the mandibular condyle, it is the thinnest avascular portion of the disc, and this entire complex, it is placed in an anterior superior most position against the slopes of their respective eminences. So why antero superior most position? So whenever the condyle and articular disc, they rest in this area. So this area, this point is the anterior most point of the glenoid fossa, whereas this area, it is the posterior most slope of the articular eminence. So this complex, it rests in an anterior superior most position against the slopes of their respective eminentia, and this position, it is independent of the tooth contact. So this means that whether the teeth present or not present, the condyle can be in centric position. So we can conclude that the centric relation is pure bone to bone relationship, in which it is independent of the teeth. If teeth are absent, then two condyle can be in centric relation or centric position. Now why antero superior most position? Why not posterior most position or anterior most position? So there is certain significance for the position of the condyle, which is antero superior most position. What is that significance? So we all know that there are elevators which are present in our oral cavity, that is masseter temporalis and medial pterygoid. So these elevator muscles, those muscles are present in between the teeth and the temporomandibular joint. So these elevator muscles, they always have a tendency to pull the condyle in upward direction. So as they have tendency to pull the condyle in upward direction, condyle in the centric relation position, it has a tendency to resist the maximum load of the elevator's muscle. So the antero superior most position of the condyle, in that position the condyle can resist the maximum forces of the elevator muscle. So that position is tend to be a basic resting position for the condyle, which we call as the centric position or centric relation of the condyle. So in that relation, basically there is rest which is provided to the elevators as well as the condyles. Hence the antero superior most position is the most preferred position for the condyle. So why the thinnest part of the articular disc? We all know that articular disc has the posterior most thickest band, but still it is not the preferred site for the condyle to articulate. Then why only the thinnest part of the disc? Because the thinnest part of the disc, it is avascular, that is, it is devoid of any type of blood supply and it does not has any type of nerve supply. Though it is avascular, it is the most trained portion of the articular disc to bear the loading forces. Whereas if the condyle moves to the posterior or anterior band, so this portion of the bands, those bands are highly vascular as well as those are innervated with the nerve supply. So if the condyle articulates with this posterior or anterior band, this is going to lead to the compression of the nerves as well as the arterial blood supply, because of which this might lead to pain and discomfort. Hence the thinnest portion of the band is the most preferred site for the condyle to articulate. Hence the centric relation is found to be the most universally acceptable position of the jaw, that is condyle. Then it is the most physiologically correct position, because in this position the masticatory muscles, they work in the most coordinated fashion. Moving on to next, that it is biomechanically correct position, whereas this is the only jaw position which provides interference free occlusion, because in this position the condyle, the articular disc, the masticatory muscles, these all three structures are in very relaxed fashion and work in very coordinated way. Moving on to next, why centric relation is the most biomechanically correct position? how that centric relation is the biomechanically correct position. What if condyle moves downwards or forwards from the usual position? So what would happen is, we have already read that elevators, they have tendency to pull the condyle to the centric relation. So whenever the condyle moves downwards or forward direction, so elevators, they pull the condyles to the centric relation, that is upward direction. Whereas at similar time, whenever the condyle displaces, there is an inferior lateral pterygoid muscle which also contracts, because whenever the condyle moves out of glenoid fossa, there is always an inferior lateral pterygoid muscle which is going to undergo contraction. So in this movement changes, there is a war between the elevators and the inferior lateral pterygoid muscle, because both the muscles, they simultaneously contracts, which does not happen in the usual normal cases. Whereas if both the elevators as well as inferior lateral pterygoid muscles are going to contract, this would lead to the hyperactivity of the masticatory muscles, and the total load, that is overload, would be falling on the last molars, and this leads to the beginning of the temporomandibular disorders. The centric relation is the most biomechanically correct position. Any other position other than that of centric relation would lead to this sequelae, which is itself a pathology. So as earlier we have seen that centric relation is the pure bone to bone relation independent of the teeth contact. So moving on to centric occlusion. So what is centric occlusion? It is the functional relationship of the teeth when the condyles are in centric relation. So in this relation, it's not necessary that teeth are going to be in maximum contact. They might or they might not be, but the condyle has to be in centric relation. So whenever the condyle is in centric relation, at that time whatever relationship of the upper and lower teeth is there, that relationship is called as centric occlusion. This centric occlusion, it is also called as intercuspal position or the convenience occlusion. So moving on to maximum intercuspation, that is MIP. So it is the complete intercuspal position of the opposing teeth independent of the condylar position. On the contrary, in case of centric occlusion, it was totally dependent on the condylar position. The condyle has to be in centric relation to obtain the centric occlusion, whereas in case of maximum intercuspation, it is totally independent of the condylar position. The condyle does not need to be in centric relation, or it might be in centric relation, it depends. By far it is called as the best fit of the teeth, because in this position there is complete intercuspal locking of the upper as well as lower teeth. So it is called as the best fit of the teeth, and it is the pure teeth to teeth relation because it does not depend on the condylar position. Centric relation, we studied that it is pure bone to bone relation, whereas maximum intercuspation, it is teeth to teeth relation, and it is also called as habitual or acquired type of occlusion. Whenever we fabricate any type of prosthesis into the patient, our goal should always be that the centric relation should always coincide with the maximum intercuspation position. Whenever the condyle is in centric relation, at similar time we should obtain the maximum intercuspation position too. So this should be our objective while rehabilitating any. So looking at the difference between the centric occlusion and maximum intercuspation. So with respect to condyle, in case of centric occlusion, the condyle has to be in centric relation, which is the mandatory criteria, whereas in case of maximum intercuspation, the condyle may or may not be in centric relation. Secondly, teeth relation. In case of centric occlusion, the teeth may or may not be in total intercuspation, whereas in case of maximum intercuspation, the total intercuspation of the upper as well as lower teeth has to be present. So in all, we can conclude that the centric occlusion might or might not be equal to that of maximum intercuspation in natural dentition, whereas while fabricating a prosthesis, in that case we need to try and we need to keep the centric relation, centric occlusion and maximum intercuspation at the same position. That is, whenever the condyle is in centric relation, at the same time the centric occlusion should be equal to that of the maximum intercuspation. So this thing we should take care while fabricating a prosthesis into the patient. So hope you have liked the video, guys. That's all for centric relation, centric occlusion and maximum intercuspation. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe my channel Akshay Bhandari's Dental Videos if you are new to the channel. So see you in the next video. All the best.